Hello, this is Kev.
And Lil. We're discussing relationships in all of its forms and everything in between.
We've been together over 30 years. We've seen some things together and apart.
So if you want to laugh or need advice, come spend some time with Kev and Lil.
Have we met? Hey everybody! So we're back and we decided to change it up this week. You can see our lovely mess behind us. We're doing a video and guess what? It's not porn. No, but seriously. So this week the topic, which we'll get to in a second, we just want to let everyone know. Thank you for listening. Around the world, I've noticed things. I've noticed countries like Iran and Saudi Arabia and Morocco, down in Brazil. I wish I could say a Portuguese word for you, but I can't. The stinkers in Puerto Rico still have not started listening, but the USA, at least about 30 of the 50 states have started to listen to us on the regular. I can name others, those Russians have been listening to us, and India and Norway of all places. It's amazing, and we are both extremely grateful for that.
Very much so.
We haven't in total downloads and not views, but downloads and so forth between YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcast and we've had over 1,000 times people have listened to us, and that again extremely grateful.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy lives to listen to us.
Listen to our nonsense at times, right?
Well, nonsense. They're not going to want to listen anymore.
No, you're like I say on our website, yes, KevinLilHaveWeMet.com. She's the brains and the beauty. I'm the idiot and the side, smoking a cigar if I could, and trying to crack a joke.
Wear the cowboy hat.
Yeah, I wish I could put on my cowboy hat now. I wish I could smoke a cigar, but I don't like to smoke indoors.
Not in the house.
But seriously, again, we want to thank you. And for those that haven't, certainly please visit us on those sites, on those platforms. Absolutely, comment. If you want to criticize, go right ahead. Tell me I need a shave.
Anything.
I might have a booger. I don't know. But no,
we'll put our link tree in the doobly-doo,
don't
in the description.
Don't talk dirty to my wife. She might want to leave me. But seriously. So again, this week's topic is of all things arguing. Yes. Oh, this is gonna be.
We're experts at that.
So much fun. But just so you guys know, we have our notes. So we don't look like total morons
we're
just
looking
talking.
Down because we're looking at it.
And sometimes you'll see us look back because our dog Nikita is behind us, and she's a huge dog and she makes a lot of noise. She may whine.
Sorry, she's a German Shepherd mix.
Yes,
so.
And who knows? Maybe we'll put her on the website at some point too, so you can see what she looks like. But okay, so couple of reasons for arguments, at least in our lives.
Well, may I say something first?
Absolutely.
Okay, I believe it's normal for couples to argue. I mean, it can be an opportunity, I believe. It could be an opportunity for growth and understanding.
Okay, fair enough.
It's normal, guys. Everybody argues. 30 plus years. We argue all the time.
So now it's funny because I've been reading this book, and we'll talk about that book at a later date because I'm not finished with it yet. But it is one of the things that stated in this book. I want to say it's called Toxic Relationship Recovery. But again, if I had the book in front of me, I could tell you who the writer is. I could tell you she's a psychotherapist who's actually situated here in New York. One of the things she touches on is fights opposed to arguments, meaning there's a difference to the two, right? Okay. We do our best to argue. Unfortunately, at times, yes, it could turn into a fight. And the fights are, arguments for us is more, they're definitely more constructive.
Okay.
They can, we can touch on certain things. We can, there may be things that we, may be disturbing her or myself. But yeah, there's things such as that. And where fights are just ugly. Fights are ugly. Fights, you could, and I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about they're ugly in that you can start throwing low blows. You could say things that maybe
shots.
you normally wouldn't want to say or you shouldn't say, of course. And those are toxic, of course.
Yes.
But yeah, so just so we know what those are, what the differences are from those, and and again, just so you're aware, arguments are not to win. That what is said is not what she heard, type of thing at times.
I usually win the arguments. So.
Do you really? Or do you just decide not to apologize? Yes, because she doesn't like to apologize. And then when she thinks she apologizes, that's another note of mine, they're never heartfelt.
I said I was sorry.
Exactly. That's how she responds. Instead of actually saying she's
say
sorry.
Like 500 times.
No,
Listen,
it's not about 500 times.
And that's it.
If you said it once correctly, we'd be okay.
Listen, Linda. Let's not start arguing in front of these people right now, okay?
Hey, it's part of the episode. It happens.
You're gonna lose.
Do you remember one of our long-standing arguments? We haven't had it in a long time,
well,
which I'm so happy.
It was financial.
That's the one I was going to bring up.
Financial is like the numero uno, number one.
We had, I remember we were, and I would say stupid things
and send them back to mama.
And I used to say stupid things. I used to bring up stuff like, "Oh, but you made me go into debt," and it was so stupid. It was so stupid because she didn't make me do anything. I did it to myself, and but she was definitely an influence, just so you know. But still, it wasn't her fault.
Well, it was my fault, yes, because when I met him, he wasn't working.
Neither were you.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't. We both weren't working when we met.
No,
come on, tick, tick, tick. The brain needs to click, click, click. Okay, yeah, you were not working.
Yes, I was.
No, hun,
I was
weren't.
working at 225.
No, baby, I wasn't with you when you worked there.
Okay, so then after 225,
you weren't working. You weren't working. You didn't start working when we were together. You didn't start working till maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month after we started dating. You didn't find a job. Yeah. Trust me, you didn't. I know this. I remember.
I'm trying to think where I used to work when I still lived in my mother's house.
You worked at 225. And then after that, you worked at that, what was that?
Polygram. I was with you when I was at Polygram.
Yes, you were at Polygram, but that was later. That wasn't that. I can't tell. I can't remember the order of the jobs, but I could remember. You worked for that couple that they had that off. We don't need to say all the names of places you worked, but you could. I remember you worked there, which was down in Soho. They don't. You sure?
No.
They probably broke up. Yeah. They weren't exactly the kindest couple. Let's put it that way.
No, just even the companies I mentioned, they're no longer there.
Polygram is not there anymore.
No, because it was video. There's no such thing as video now.
That's right.
VHSs.
You're right. Yeah, well, who knows?
Just
what
like you used to work for Blockbuster.
Yeah, I used to work for Blockbuster. That's true.
Anyway, financial.
Financial was a huge issue.
Yes.
It was a huge issue. Yeah. You'll see her constantly going, "Can we get back on topic?" Because I have a habit of.
And I'm the one with ADHD. I'm like squirrel, but no, I guess. You know what? We balance each other out because then when I get off topic, you pull me back in. But anyway, financial. My thing was when we were dating, I was still living at my mother's.
I was still living at home as well.
I couldn't afford my own place.
Right.
And we started dating, and then I did get a job. I was able to save a little bit of money. Finally got to move out, and he wound up being my first and only roommate.
Yeah.
Besides my son, my 7-year-old son, when he was 7 when we met.
Right.
And my thing was, I always thought it was going to be 50-50. But I never thought about what if I made less money and what if he made less money, or what about in between jobs? Because you had really bad luck.
In the beginning, I definitely did. In the beginning, and then don't get me wrong, over the years too, at times there was some. You've had more bad luck lately than I have, but I mean, but that's part of a relationship. You know what I mean? That's part of a marriage. That's part of a, hey, if you're not doing it, I'm got to do it, and vice versa. I mean, and that's that's one of those things. That's part of the along with arguments, it's that too. You have to learn to find that middle ground. You have to learn to find that place where you go, okay, know what?
Give and take, yes.
You have to know where you say, hey, is this argument gonna last forever, or is this argument something we could settle on? We can finally say, okay, enough is enough. All right. And don't get me wrong, I was immature as all hell. I mean, there's no way to put it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was but also she needed to grow up as well for certain things. Not everything. You certainly were ahead of me in a lot. You were ahead of me a lot. And we both know, especially where. But
You're an ass. We're going to get to that topic later. Okay. So financial, what's your next topic?
Topics-wise, I can say a bunch of stuff.
Biggie. I have another biggie that we constantly, till this day, still argue about. Household chores.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
You want to go down that rabbit hole right now?
Yeah, you could take that hole and take it somewhere else. Start that up.
When we both worked, obviously we're both tired. We get home. We used to live in Staten Island. It would take forever to get home. Forever. And we were both tired. Most of the time, we would only cook on the weekends. And that's if not, we didn't go out. And most of the time, we used to order out. I'm going to admit, we did.
We still order out a lot.
Yeah, but
they know us now. They knew our order, for crying out loud.
I know. They already knew our freaking voice and they knew that order. And anyway, we used to get home and then I'd be like, okay, so I'll do this, you do that. Oh, but I'm tired. Oh, but I have stuff to do. There was always an excuse. And I'm like, it's not fair that I have to do it just because I'm the woman.
Whoa. It wasn't about just because you were the woman. It was because you had more time than I did at times.
I said when we both worked. I still have more time. I used to get home after you. You used to get home before me.
Okay. Okay.
So.
Is this an argument you want to start up now?
Yes, we're going to fight right now. No, but it's till this day, it's still hard. It's like we even went, we family therapists. We had a therapist to help us out with one of these issues. And he would say, oh, well, why don't you do a chore list? Or I was like, it doesn't work because he still doesn't follow it.
You wouldn't follow it. Let me tell you, you know what else would bother me? No, you want to bring this up? You really want to bring this up?
Yes.
Okay, so as help, I would actually say, okay, you know what? I don't have the time, and unfortunately at times I wouldn't have the energy because, again, remember, I was much heavier, and I just had no energy. I'm not trying to use that as an excuse, but it definitely was part of the issue as well. And I didn't have the energy, and I would go, okay, let me get somebody over here to help clean. No, see, I realized the issue wasn't that I wasn't helping. The issue was I wasn't cleaning the way you cleaned. Because I'll go, no, stop it. I would clean, and you'd come up, this is the job you're doing? Look, you missed this. And I'm like, yo, hold up a minute. Are we together, or are you my freaking drill sergeant? Are you kidding me right now?
Point is, I wasn't satisfied with the way he would clean. And I come to find out that he used to do the same thing to his mother.
Oh, whatever. Don't start that garbage.
Yes. I asked her. She goes, oh, yeah, he used to do the same thing all the time. When I used to tell him to wash the tub, he would do a lousy job. And then I would get upset and take the freaking sponge from his hand and I'll do it myself. And that's what happens to me.
No, and that's
Like a
the same thing.
dumbass.
They're both insane because, God forbid, somebody does it differently than the way they did it, and
It's
they'd
not
get
different,
upset.
It's correct.
Oh,
You don't see rings around the tub.
correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that
The
doesn't
right way
sound
is the correct
that doesn't
way.
sound narcissistic at all, honey.
Anyway,
Whatever.
that's, as you can see,
You know,
that's another argument we
Yes,
have.
the
all
recurring
the time.
arguments. Oh my
So
gosh.
you
the
guys
recurring
have
argument.
any tips?
I got
Let
a
us
tip
know
for you.
in the comments.
I got a tip for you.
Yeah. Don't be nasty.
I didn't say anything. All I said a tip. I got a tip. Umbrella in the rain. What? Umbrella in the rain. Don't smoke in the bed.
Anyway,
whatever.
Next topic.
Use a tissue.
All
You
right.
know what I mean?
Come on.
Another top. I mean, how about the fact that when you do argue, you're never accountable for your argument, especially when you're wrong. When you're wrong, you are never accountable. There's no accountability whatsoever.
Ooh.
And I stand there going, "Are you serious?" And I think I hate to do this, but I don't hate to do this because this may start an argument right now. But oh my God, when it comes down to you are so much like
I
who.
swear, if you say it,
You know who. Ooh, if for those of you that have listened in the past, you know who I'm talking about. Yes, I'm not gonna call her
if I'm
names.
like my mother, you're like your father.
Oh, you said it.
No.
Oh, don't say it 3 times. She may show up. Oh my gosh.
So
but-
if I'm like her, you're like your father.
For little things, yes, I am. For
And
little
you're
things,
you're
I
a lot
am.
like your mother as well.
Yeah, that's something.
Okay. Point is, we are who we are. And that's it.
It's when I was saying earlier about the immaturity thing, it's you think about things at times and you're thinking, you'll always find love draining if you date people you have to raise.
Oh, hallelujah. Praise. I mean, come on. You're preaching to the choir, brother.
It's one of those things where, you're especially somebody like you. Okay, and this is not any way of insult. I'm not starting
I'm
this off as
listening.
I'm saying, especially someone like you, because you had a child.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Before I met you.
And I had to grow up faster than you.
Yeah, for
that
here
what
and
you're
there,
gonna say?
because honestly, like I said, there were certain things that maybe you still had to mature as well. Not as much as I did, of course. And for those that don't know, she's also 5 years older than me. But at that time, she probably was 10 years older than me, just in maturity. Okay, the emotional maturity and intelligence.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
But yeah, when it comes down to that, and God bless you for putting up with my nonsense at times. God bless you, and don't get me wrong,
I
God
still
bless
do.
me too,
I
because
still
it went
do.
back, and you still do.
Yes.
You still do.
Yes.
Really,
Yes.
really, you still do.
Yes. And yes, you do put up with a lot of my crap too. So that's give and take.
A lot of her crap. When I say, holy cow,
And you know
I
what's so
need to have
funny?
like one of those street crews that
You
break
always
up the
say
street
that
with all
crap,
the
but you don't. And then he gets
shovels
mad
and
when I tell him this. You don't have to
jacket.
stay. I used to tell him that all
See,
the time.
but that's just wrong the way you
I
say
used to
it.
tell him that all
but
the
that's the way.
time.
But that's wrong the way you say it, because it almost comes off as, you're giving up on the relationship.
No.
Oh, you don't have to stay.
No,
honey.
because
it's not about that I don't have to stay.
Obviously, we're not going anywhere because it's been 30 years. So obviously, we're not going.
But it's not about I don't have to stay. It's no, of course I don't have to. And it's not something you need to remind me of all the time, okay? Because you do at least once a month say this, and I'm looking at you like, what? Why do you even say that? Do you want me to leave?
Okay, I guess I don't have it.
Do you want me to go? Do you not want me here? Do you not want all this here? Do you not want all this? Because hey, hon,
I can't with you right now. Next topic. Lack of communication.
Well, that's not a problem for me. And we know that's not a problem
He
for me.
talks so much. And then, no. My pet peeve is,
I repeat myself.
oh my God, you repeat yourself 500 million times. And that's why I said the door's right there. I'm done. I'm done because I'm like, I agree with you. Yes, that is correct. I apologize. I'm sorry. Oh, but and then he goes over the whole freaking thing again. And then he gets pissed off because I said I was sorry.
No, because you didn't say you were sorry correctly the first time. You said it, but it was like
correction.
It was like sorry, like it was an inconvenience for you to even apologize.
This whole conversation's an inconvenience.
And it's like you're killing me. You're killing me because you do this all the time. You do this all the time. You know. And so, do you want another topic?
No, because we're still on lack of communication.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, lack of communication. Okay.
Yeah, because
you don't communicate, but okay.
His big thing is that I don't communicate with him. I don't let him know things ahead of time. So our therapist, once again, stated, okay, so why don't you text him? Because I would call him at work and tell him, oh, I'm busy. Can't be calling me all the time. And I'm like, okay, I apologize. But my thing is, if I didn't say it right away, I would forget it. Or I would write it down. And then when you come home, oh, but why didn't you tell me earlier? And I'm like, it was damned if you do, damned if you don't. So we were told that we would text each other so we could remember and go back on the text. So every time I would say something, goes, oh, you never told me that. I said, I texted to you. Or I would cook. I didn't have to cook because it was just him and I. Our youngest he would eat whatever, or he would buy something. So I didn't have to cook all the time. So I would tell him, let me know if you're going to eat tonight or not. Or let me know you're coming home late, so I would start dinner late. Correct?
Sure.
So yeah, there was a lack of communication. So now we either call, text, email, send freaking carrier pigeons.
Yeah.
We try and communicate as much as possible. Communication is key. I know it's such a... It's something that someone says it all. I mean, people say it all the time. Communication is key, but it is correct. It is a key.
Yes. And
yes, you may.
So there's two things with this, or at least, the first thing is, unfortunately, you don't communicate, or you wouldn't communicate. Now you've gotten much better at it. Mm-hmm. You have. It's taken some time. She's gotten much better. I'm all about, come on, let's get together. Let's have a discussion. Because I hate things to linger. Mm-hmm. Oh, I hate things to linger because then it's on the back of my mind. And blah, blah, blah. I tell people all the time, look, if you got to have a conversation, write your stuff down so you don't forget what you got to say, stuff like that. But yeah, that's a huge thing for me. And oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought as far as communication.
Write it down, right?
Yeah, I know. I lost it. Damn, I look like a fool. Hopefully I remember what it was. Maybe it'll come back to me. But
you don't want to let it linger.
No, that was already, that was that point. That was my point on that is totally. But yeah, you wouldn't communicate. Again, I'm repeating myself. And, this might be a slightly change of topic, and hopefully I'll remember the other thing. So this is something that you when you do communicate. Oh, I remember now. I remember. Oh, the thing when you go, the thing what you do, and yes, that you when you do communicate, but instead of asking me aside from people. Oh, and she's already laughing because she knows what I'm talking about, right? Because she has a bad habit of, when we're in front of a friend or whatever, and she'll go, oh, honey, are we doing anything for this, and that? Or, oh, honey, it's okay, right? Because we're going to blah, blah, blah. We're not doing anything. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm going to look like the a-hole now when I go, I don't want to do that. Or, no, I don't want to go there. So I have to say, I guess not. Now we have to go. And she's done this to me. I am not exaggerating. At least 100 times.
It's true, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I do that because I get caught in the moment. And you know what? But at least I asked before. I used to make plans.
Oh, that was the other thing she would do. Oh my God, that would drive me crazy. And I'm sitting there going, Oh, really? We're just doing that now. Is that it? We're not even discussing it. You're just, again, no lack of communication. I mean, lack of communication, not no lack.
Yeah, I was gonna say we had communication, but my favorite, I stopped doing it. But I like certain things. Like I'm a crafter, a paper crafter. I make my own journals. I do a lot of stuff, scrapbooking, whatever. So I would meet all these great ladies, and we would want to get together.
Oh, I already know what she's talking about.
And I used to make him play dates.
Oh, that drove me freaking crazy. I'm like, honey, I'm not a freaking 6-year-old. Stop making play dates for me. Cut the crap. Cut it out. And she did this at least, she tried to do it 3 times. I said, stop it. With the third one, I'm not going to name names. She did it with 2 others. One, hey, shout out to Rich. Hopefully he's listening in Texas. Yes, that I can appreciate it. He became a friend. I'm good with that one. I'm not going to name the other person because they were.
Well, the point is,
again,
it worked, but it didn't work every single time, and it's
because I cut that crap out. I was like, enough was enough.
The thing is, I wanted him to meet the husband, so maybe we could all click. Because it's hard after a while to get couple friends to do couple stuff together.
Yes, I agree.
So we didn't have very much. Well, now we do.
We have a couple, but they're not exactly
remember,
local.
Back in the day, you were the first one with a kid because of Jeremy, my oldest. You were the first one to get married because we got married after 7 years together. But still, there were a lot of our friends that weren't married that haven't had kids.
Yep.
So we couldn't do a lot of couple stuff together. We always had to do group things. And so I always wanted to find couples, and I was hoping.
Her best, she tried to hook me up. I'm going to say hook me up. She tried to hook me up with her best friend's husband to hang out. Oh my God, this guy was such a tool.
I know what you're talking about.
He was such a tool. And not, you know what? He's not. He wasn't.
Friend.
It's not. It wasn't so much that he was such a. He still is a tool.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the future, we'll have her on, and she'll tell you about her ex-husband now. And oh my gosh,
I was just trying to make
tool,
guys.
tool.
She was
Holy
always
cow!
in our lives. I was always in her life.
And I love the girl.
And we wanted to try and make it work, but.
No, she knew it too. She knew it too.
Yeah, and she even know we both know. My girlfriend and I, we both know he tried his best, but it was just impenetrable.
No, this guy
was not working.
Oh, douche. Douche.
But
I hope he listens to this because he's a douche.
Now, and I don't do that anymore.
Oh
but
my gosh.
You used to do it too with your friends. But you know what's so funny? I get along with everyone.
Well, yeah, because you're wonderful that way. But no, but seriously, did I really do it? Yeah. I wouldn't say I really did it. It was more of those, all right, honey, we're going to go, and you'd be okay with it. But it wasn't like, oh, you have to hang out with the girls. I would never do that to you.
Well, who was I supposed to go with?
Oh, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
I am a more personable person.
Okay. At times you are. Next topic, I got one for you.
Okay.
Arguing in front of our friends.
Oh, we do that all the time. I'm sorry, guys.
Unfortunately, I have a bad habit of doing that.
We do.
I am so guilty of this. And I mean, I talk about things that I'm like, do you believe what she did to me? And you know what it is? I just need somebody on my side. I need somebody on my side. And I usually do it in front of her best friend. And her best friend will look at me and look at her and go, he's right. You were wrong. And that's what
Not all the time.
A couple of times.
Very rarely.
A couple of times she did. And that's why I keep doing it, because I keep hoping that she'll be on my side.
It's very rare. Very rare.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You want to talk about that last one? That last time? About that last time where I was absolutely right? You don't want to talk about that, right?
But babe, because I have so much other things.
Okay.
Let's get back into topic. Okay, my next topics, which it also, that's not so much, I think, but intimacy and sex.
What, withholding afterwards, you mean?
Well, yeah.
Or using it as a weapon type of thing?
I don't do that. You know I don't.
No, we never do that.
Okay.
We never
but
do that.
A lot of couples do argue about intimacy and sex, and a lot of women and men too withhold sex.
Everybody does it,
they're
regardless
angry.
of the gender or pronoun or whatever it may be.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Toxic relationships or arguing happens with anyone and everyone. I mean, from parents to kids to siblings, you name it. It happens with everyone.
Exactly. So I always thought that if, guys, even if you're married, no means no. No means no. You could give them a reason why. I just like, nope, it's not happening. Or, no, I have a headache. That's always the good excuse. But I also wanted to bring this topic up because, we didn't argue so much, but I know I made him feel bad. Hopefully it's not TMI, guys, but I'm going to talk about menopause. When women go through perimenopause and menopause, our bodies go through a lot of change. And unfortunately, we don't talk about this enough, which we're going to do
In the near future.
a couple of episodes on menopause.
Let's try not to touch on it too much now.
Yes, but the point is, we weren't having that much intimacy, and we actually communicated about it, and I told him what was happening, and we worked at it. You got to talk to each other. You have to.
The gyno might say something, but the dentist might say something different. You know what I'm saying?
I can't stand you. But anyway, that's another reason or another thing that a lot of couples argue about.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I mean, again, we could touch on so many other issues that, from kids, or not kids, but couples that have special needs kids. I know that's a huge statistic that unfortunately they get divorced. That'll be another topic we'll touch on later
down.
Oh my gosh, that's toxic relationships alone. Codependency, love bombing, all that stuff. But another thing we are guilty of is arguing in front of the kids.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's something that it's funny because we both grew up with that as well.
Yeah.
Our parents, whether it was your stepdad or whatever it might have been, and they still argue. My father's gone now, but oh my God. And it was like, and I would just sit there going, can you shut up already? Can you shut up? It's the same stupid argument.
Our kids say the same thing. We always argue about the same stupid thing, and they just roll their eyes like, we're really at this again. But we're trying not to do it so much. But another thing we argue about, and other couples do as well, family.
Oh my gosh. Well, the last episode we spoke about relatives. Oh my gosh. Because, again, and this part doesn't have to do with you directly, but it's, your mom. We used to argue about your mother all the time. And with good reason.
No boundaries.
She had absolutely no boundaries. Absolutely none. And I would argue like, yo, can you tell this woman to leave? Or better yet, can you tell her to get out of our business?
But our aunt told her, so.
No, we moved away. That was the difference. It wasn't because you told her, because you never really told her. Shoot, our oldest told her before you did.
Yeah.
And, she whatchamacallit, oh man, it took a lot. And then when we finally moved out of Staten Island and we moved over to Brooklyn, at least she wasn't here every day. Yeah. And, oh my gosh, she used to walk in, remember? Like nothing. Oh, I have the key. Woman.
It's emergencies.
Emergencies. You live around the corner. You don't need to. This emergency is not here. Emergency is if we're not home and you need to get in for some reason to help somebody get in. Not for you to just show up. What the hell is wrong with you?
We argued about that a lot.
Oh my gosh.
We also are. People argue about friends. Oh, I don't like so and so. I don't want you hanging out with so and so.
Yeah, I know. And there's one particular one that you hang out with that I am not a fan of.
Whatever. You can't tell me who I...
No, I can't, but I can tell you not to bring them over here. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, respect. It's our home, not just mine. What in the world is going on?
Well, leave it alone.
I can't. It keeps on falling.
No, you keep touching it.
I keep on going like this.
You keep touching it. Leave it alone. Now it's in your face and you can't see. It's supposed to be under you. You silly goose.
Well, it keeps on falling, so I don't want to touch it. Just leave it. You guys don't mind, do you? No.
Okay, whatever.
So, yeah, work-life balance. That's another good one.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, we
We
were
almost got divorced because of one of my jobs.
shoot, we barely got married, but because of that job, they were way too intrusive. They were way too intrusive,
I
and
was
that was
like
a I
on
had we
call
would
without an on call
they thought
salary.
you were a personal assistant, whatever, and I would be like, and I actually had to step in and say something to them,
Yeah.
and I said, "Yo, she doesn't get paid 24 hours a day here. She's left the and." Shoot, you would be doing 12, 14-hour days with
Yeah.
them,
And the
which was
thing
really
is,
suspicious too.
after office hours, we would have to do networking too. Like he was in entertainment, and we would do networking, and I would invite him, and I was like, come on, we're
Okay,
gonna
you
do
can't
it 'cause
say
it's
he
an
was in
event.
entertainment. It sounds like you're talking about me.
No, the person I used to work for.
That you have to say that.
And we used to network. We used to go to clubs. We used to go to bars. We used to go to events all the
Right.
time.
And I get that.
Yeah.
And I got that. But then, we would go there, we being me and our oldest, and we'd be like, she's not doing anything. Literally, we would show up at like 6 o'clock to hopefully go home. And you guys would just be talking crap the entire time. And we'd look at it and you're like, yo, can we leave? Oh, I still have to do this. Then get it done so we can go. It's late. And I remember there would be times it would be like 10, 11 o'clock, and I'd go, you're not doing anything. You're just talking garbage. Because I
It
would
was
see.
not garbage. It was about work. But anyway,
It was
point is to
garbage.
see
If
this-
it was
this
about
is
work,
what
it was about
happened.
garbage.
This is
Because
what
it wasn't
happened.
it wasn't about the work. It was about people at work. So that was garbage.
It was
okay?
about stuff that used to affect us. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway,
you
yeah,
have
okay.
another topic?
Anything.
Because I got plenty.
I got another one. I got one where a couple of things where you shouldn't do, like of course, back to the fighting, no cursing, no insults, right?
Yes.
But also, oh my gosh, the silent treatment.
I can't do that, guys. I can't.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I forget. I forget that I'm not
I'll be honest with you. I tried doing that with you, and you shut that down so early that I just never did it again. I never tried it again. And it's funny because again, with that book that I'm reading, they talk about how it's a toxic, it's toxic virtually. And I'm thinking back, and I'm like, and I knew exactly who I was getting it from. I was getting it from Ma. I got it from Ma because Ma used to try to pull that on me all the time until the last time she pulled it on me because I did it to her back, and she realized, oh, better never do that to him again because I stopped talking. This was way back in I must have been, 21 maybe? And if that was 92, 93? And I remember she did it to me, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it to her back. And honestly, it lasted for 6 months. And I knew it hurt her.
how you do that.
I knew I hurt her. But, at that age, again, the emotional maturity is not there. But she never did that to me again. It took that long or it took that much to teach her a lesson.
That
But
reminds me of the. Oh, sorry.
no, please. That I just want to say this. And funny enough, she did it to us. One of, somebody I'm related to, well, let's just say one of my brothers, does it to me. And he's older than me. And when I say he does it to me, he does it to me for years on end. But he did it to me twice now, right, hon?
Yes.
For 10 plus years, he did this to me twice. Okay? Funny
Lack
enough.
of communication.
And you want to know what's funny? He's trying to do it to me again now.
That's not going to happen. Not if I'm around. Anyway,
We'll see.
next topic. Decision making. Like he said, I would make decisions without him, but I've learned how to include him. But girls, guys, whoever, partners, pretend or make him believe that he's the one that made the decision.
Don't be cute. Don't be cute. Don't be cute. That's not even funny. That's not even funny. I don't like that. That's not funny. No. So I don't have more topics on what the arguments could be, but I do have a couple topics as far as how to resolve it, or at least I wouldn't even say topics, but I do have a couple of suggestions. Like, there's those days, because again, this has happened to us, where we're there and we're in that argument and we're at it, or whatever it is, and let's say you are like, I don't want to talk about this, and you walk out of the room, slam the door, and you walk out, you're out, and I'm going, you know, and now I think back and I'm going, okay, you know what? That probably was the right decision. And I have to learn to respect that now and think to myself, okay, because, you become hyper aroused because, you're in the heat of that moment. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I wind up becoming the pursuer where you're the distancer. Like, nope, I'm not ready to talk
Half
about
of the
this. I don't want to
time,
talk
the
about
reason
this
why
now.
we'll walk away from you is because we were not getting anywhere with this argument, and you once again would repeat yourself, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Because it doesn't get into your thick
It's
head.
like a cow's opinion. It's you guys don't watch Friends, you won't know what that means. But anyway, it's moot.
But my thing is, you're like, we need a break. We're finishing this now, and I'm going, no, hold up, no, I haven't finished speaking, because again, I am a communicator. Why am I stuttering? I don't know. I am a communicator.
I'm the one that's drinking. It's water, but still.
But it's one of those things, and
I
but again, you can wind up, hey, you and a friend of mine, our pastor, God bless him, of course,
Pastor Joe.
Pastor June, and when I was discussing these things with him, he was like, yeah, you could be right by yourself. And I was like, man, that is a great line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm stealing that line right now. But yeah, it's one of those things, and you need to learn to shut up, and sometimes you need to learn to listen.
Well, I think instead of assigning blame on the other person and just yap and yap and yap, repeat yourself over and over again. I think in arguments you figure out what you're upset about, what went wrong, and how to change it. And now and in the future, like try not to keep on repeating. I shouldn't say that because we still have the same argument sometimes, but try not to have the same argument over and over again. And then you realize, you know what? This is crazy. This is the same freaking argument. Let's try and figure out a way how to get around. I'm sorry. The dog is whining. I apologize. Kiki, what? I'm sorry, guys. It's like having kids. Come. What's the matter? So what was I saying?
Then try not to have it the same.
Yeah, try not to have. Just sit down, discuss it with each other. See what went wrong. See what you can correct. What difference? What little tweaks do something different so you won't have the same arguments over and over again. For example, I wrote this down because sometimes it happens to what happens to us. I was like, your partner leaves a dirty sock on the floor. You're feeling like you're not appreciated. It's like instead of fighting over the sock, talk about needing to feel valued and appreciated. Ask them for help. That's my problem. I don't tell him. That is not the reason why I'm angry at you. It's not because you don't put your freaking clothes in the hamper.
I put my clothes in the hamper. Most of the time.
It's just sitting down with him and saying, listen, it's not only that. It's just I don't feel appreciated. You don't appreciate the fact that I pick up your clothes, put them in the hamper, take them out, separate them, wash them, dry them, fold them, put them away. I am not appreciated. I need help. Can you help me? And then you'll feel like, okay, he threw the stupid sock on the floor. It's better than him not helping me with the laundry, which he does now, which I appreciate that. And two other topics. Do you have anything else to say? Because I have two more things to say.
You have topics?
No, two more things that I have to say.
Say what you got to say. I'll close. I'll.
You can close after I say what I have to say.
That's what I just said.
I think the best thing you could do for a relationship is make yourself happy first. Because if you're not happy, you can't make each other happy. Or did I say that right? The relationship won't be a good one. It won't be happy if you're not happy. Also, try and find alone time. Like you said, I would walk away from certain conversations and certain arguments. Find a quiet place, alone time. Think about the argument after you cool off. Because, like you said, you'll say something and hurt the other person's feelings. And my last thing is, if any of these opinions, it's just opinions. We're not licensed therapists. We're not thing like that. We're just telling you about our experiences, and hopefully this can help you. But seek professional help. And then you go from there.
So, look, arguments happen. You have to remind yourself that this will pass, and you'll resolve it. I use this word, and I've used this word even before I want to say even before, well, no, not before, but I want to say I've used this word a long time, and you probably heard me say it in the past as well, rededication. Mm. Because, hey, sometimes you're like, oh my God, I hate them. And it's okay to hate them. It is. I mean, for the moment. But again, that's one of the reasons why you say to yourself, okay, you know what? I need to step back. And I need to remind myself why I'm here. I need to remind myself who I'm with, why I'm with them, what made me get there. And again,
flip the bird.
And rededicate yourself to that person and say to yourself, okay, you know what? And again, don't get me wrong, this may not work for everyone. Mm-hmm. You gotta, some relationships are not fixable. They're just not. But if there's even an inkling of something there, if the good definitely outweighs the bad, then you've got to find a reason why. And maybe the argument is for a reason. Maybe the argument is, hey, you know what? There's issues, and there's something that we need to resolve, and there's something that we need to say to ourselves why we're having this argument, and why do we care so much that we're having this argument. And again, you're gonna need to learn to argue helpfully and healthily. Okay, that's from. I think I figured that one out myself. To tell you the truth, I didn't get that from anywhere. Kudos to me that I actually thought on my own. But yeah, it's because you can argue, but if you're just arguing just because you want to yell, and you want to stomp your feet or whatever, that's not helpful.
Have a tantrum.
And again, healthily, you want to come with something constructive, and you want to say what is bothering you, and find a way to say it without being totally insulting, because that's not helping either. Mm-hmm. So, that's our opinion, of course. And hey, you can take it or leave it. I would hope you take it, because it's worked for us over 30 years, and we can still crack a smile every day. I want to say every day, right? Even when you're not feeling well, every day I want to say, okay, you crack a smile, and it is what it is. We'll work through it.
And I promise that mess will be gone the next video.
No, because that's all my crap, and it's not going anywhere. None of that's going anywhere. But yeah, so thank you for listening to Kevin Lou. Mm-hmm. Talk to you the next time.
Share. Follow. Bye.
So thank you for listening to Kev
and Lil.
Have we met? And here's hoping you have better relationships in your life. Goodbye.
Goodbye.